4 behaviors can lead others to lose respect for you. These aren't minor quirks, they're habits that can genuinely hurt your reputation and strain relationships. You might think, everyone has flaws, and that's true. However, these specific habits have a unique power to disrupt how we connect with others, potentially damaging friendships or professional ties swiftly. To make this more personal, I'll share some of my own experiences. I've made my share of mistakes, and I've learned valuable lessons from them. These stories might be raw, but I hope sharing them will help us recognize and address these habits so we can live with more dignity and respect. We'll also draw insights from Stoicism, a timeless philosophy for leading a principled and meaningful life. Stoicism isn't just about enduring difficulties. It's about fostering peace, integrity, and resilience within oneself. In our journey through life, the respect we earn from others becomes one of our most valuable assets. Whether in personal relationships or professional settings, respect serves as the foundation of trust, loyalty, and meaningful connection. Yet there are certain toxic habits that, if left unchecked, can erode this respect over time. They may start as small quirks or tendencies, but they can grow into behaviors that undermine our reputation and damage our relationships in ways we might not even notice until it's too late. Today, we're going to look closely at 4 of these toxic habits. These aren't just minor faults. They're behaviors that can genuinely tarnish the way others perceive us and impact the trust they have in us. And while everyone has their own challenges and moments of weakness, identifying these habits is a powerful step toward living a more intentional, respected, and fulfilled life. What makes this discussion meaningful is that we'll approach it with the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that emphasizes self-discipline, resilience, and a focus on cultivating inner peace and integrity. Stoicism teaches us that living a virtuous life means taking responsibility for our actions, recognizing where we fall short, and continuously striving to improve ourselves. As we explore these habits, gossiping, being unreliable, interrupting others, and complaining, you may recognize yourself in some of the stories and examples shared. These are reflections from my own experiences, lessons I've learned, sometimes the hard way, that have reshaped my understanding of respect and character. So, get comfortable, open your mind, and let's dive into this journey toward shedding these toxic habits and embracing a life filled with respect, integrity, and purpose. So grab a coffee, get comfortable, and let's get started. Habit number 1, gossiping. Gossiping often starts as something seemingly innocent, a quick chat about someone else's life, perhaps with an intent to connect or feel in the know. However, gossip has an insidious way of growing, becoming toxic as it spreads and twists, and ultimately affects the people involved more negatively than they might realize. Engaging in gossip might make you feel connected with others in the short term, but it actually reveals insecurity and a need for validation from external sources. This need for validation can overshadow genuine self-confidence, leading us to seek approval through shared secrets rather than genuine interactions. Reflecting on Stoic philosophy, Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius both emphasize the value of focusing on one's own character and actions rather than getting lost in the affairs of others. Gossip pulls you away from self-awareness, instead encouraging judgments and assumptions about others. In Stoic terms, gossip is wasteful energy. It distracts from cultivating a resilient character and leads to misunderstandings and fractured trust. One of the harsh realities of gossip is that it never truly disappears. Once shared, rumors and judgments often ripple out, spreading to wider circles and leaving lasting impressions. For example, when I shared information about Emily in college, it wasn't just a momentary slip. The information, once spread, took on a life of its own, ultimately hurting her in ways that were unnecessary and unkind. That experience taught me that when we gossip, we're not just idly chatting. We're actively choosing to harm, intentionally or not, and we lose something essential in the process: our integrity. In relationships, especially professional ones, gossip can quickly become career-threatening. Many workplaces operate on trust, and if colleagues can't rely on each other to keep personal matters private, the work environment becomes strained. People become guarded, spending more time protecting themselves than collaborating openly. Practicing discretion and choosing silence over gossip not only earns you respect but also fosters an atmosphere of honesty and collaboration. These Stoics would remind us that we gain more by listening, understanding, and keeping others' private matters private. Imagine a relationship built on confidence and integrity, where people feel safe sharing their experiences. By stepping away from gossip, you contribute to a culture where respect is mutual, and conversations are growth-focused rather than judgment-driven. The next time you're tempted to share, pause and ask yourself if this is how you would want others to speak about you. The effort you put into resisting gossip pays back in trust and respect, grounding you in the confidence of a person with integrity. Habit number 2. Being unreliable. Reliability is a cornerstone of respect and trust. When someone says they'll do something or be somewhere, we instinctively believe them. But when they repeatedly fail to follow through, that trust erodes, leaving others feeling let down and undervalued. Unreliability isn't just about canceled plans or missed deadlines. It speaks volumes about a person's character and respect for others' time and energy. When I reflect on times when I was unreliable, like missing Sarah's party without proper notice or overcommitting at work without delivering, it's clear that I didn't just let others down. I showed them that I didn't respect their time. At its root, reliability is about valuing the commitments we make to others and the promises we make to ourselves. By keeping commitments, we demonstrate respect, integrity, and consideration for others, enhancing our relationships. Reliability is also a self-discipline. Being able to say, "I'll be there," and following through means you're in control of your time and decisions, which is incredibly empowering. Consistently unreliable people not only lose respect from others, but they also often feel frustrated with themselves, knowing they haven't lived up to their word. And this self-disappointment can spiral into insecurity, creating a cycle that's difficult to break. In professional settings, reliability impacts everything. Your team and supervisors need to know they can depend on you, not just for the job itself, but also for collaborative spirit. When reliability becomes an issue, it can lead to poor performance reviews, lost opportunities, and a damaged reputation that's hard to restore. The Stoics valued self-discipline and integrity, qualities that reliability reflects deeply. When you keep your word, you're not only building trust with others, but also strengthening your own sense of purpose and reliability. To build this habit, start small. If you say you'll show up for a friend's event, prioritize it, no matter how busy things get. At work, be honest about your workload and don't promise more than you can handle. Every time you follow through, you build a solid reputation and gain the confidence of others, which is invaluable. Habit number 3. Interrupting others. Interrupting is a behavior that goes beyond just cutting off someone's words. It's a form of undermining their presence and their right to be heard. Many people interrupt out of enthusiasm, but this habit conveys a lack of respect, signaling, "I value my words more than yours." It can make others feel invalidated, dismissed, and frustrated. In turn, they may feel less inclined to share their ideas, feeling they won't be given the space to do so. Interrupting creates a communication barrier that the Stoics would urge us to avoid. Listening fully and attentively shows that you value others' perspectives, a key element of respect. Marcus Aurelius advised against self-centered thoughts and urged that understanding others is a mark of wisdom. When we allow others to speak without interjecting, we practice humility and open ourselves up to learning from their experiences and viewpoints. When I interrupted colleagues during brainstorming sessions or friends during personal conversations, I thought I was contributing positively, but to them, it felt disrespectful and dismissive. Interrupting can also stunt our own growth. If we're constantly talking, we're missing out on the wealth of knowledge that others can share. Listening is more than just hearing words. It's about being fully present and engaged with what's being said. By holding back from interrupting, you allow conversations to deepen, paving the way for mutual understanding and respect. Breaking the habit of interrupting requires mindfulness and patience. The next time you feel the urge to interject, take a breath and remind yourself that listening is an act of respect. When the other person finishes, you'll likely find that your response is more thoughtful, and the conversation flows better. Habit number 4. Complaining. Complaining is a habit that seems harmless initially, but becomes incredibly draining over time. A few complaints here and there may feel like venting, but constant complaining turns you into a negative presence that people may start to avoid. It shifts the focus from problem solving to problem focusing, leading to stagnation rather than growth. Chronic complaining is mentally exhausting, not just for the complainer, but also for those who have to listen to the endless negativity. In Stoicism, there's a strong emphasis on recognizing what we can control and accepting what we cannot. Constant complaining places you in a mindset where you focus solely on what's wrong rather than what you can improve or change. It robs you of the clarity and peace that comes from accepting challenges and finding constructive solutions. Chronic complainers are often unaware of how their negativity impacts those around them, creating an atmosphere where people feel drained and even resentful. In my life, when I found myself repeatedly complaining about work, relationships, or trivial things, I noticed a growing tension in my relationships. Friends grew distant, and even my family started spending less time around me. Complaining had become my default response, yet it wasn't changing anything for the better. It was only when a friend told me that my negativity was exhausting that I realized the impact of my words on others. This was a turning point where I began to see the power of solution-focused thinking rather than complaint-focused narratives. To break free from this habit, practice gratitude. Focus on the things that are going well and acknowledge small victories, no matter how trivial they may seem. When challenges arise, instead of getting lost in complaints, direct your energy toward identifying possible solutions. If you're feeling undervalued at work, seek feedback and find ways to advocate for yourself constructively. Shift your mindset from problems to solutions, and you'll not only uplift yourself, but also those around you. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control and to accept what we can't. Complaining keeps us locked in a negative mindset, affecting not only our own perspective, but also how others see us. It reflects a mindset that focuses more on problems than on solutions, a trait that can make people distance themselves. Another instance that highlighted this for me was during a college group project. One of my teammates, Mike, constantly complained about the workload, the professor, and even the project's worth. His negativity brought down the team's morale, and soon enough, we all just wanted to finish the project as fast as possible instead of doing our best. Seeing Mike's behavior made me realize how my own complaints had likely impacted others. I decided to change my approach, focusing on gratitude and actively looking for solutions. Instead of constantly complaining about my job, I identified specific issues and sought constructive ways to address them. If I felt undervalued, I sought feedback on how to improve my contributions, and I eventually made a case for a raise. When management felt disorganized, I took the initiative to streamline processes that I could control. It wasn't easy, and change didn't happen overnight, but the results were worth it. My attitude shifted noticeably, and people began to see me differently. Relationships improved, respect was regained, and I became someone people enjoyed working with. To sum up, these 4 habits, gossiping, being unreliable, interrupting, and complaining, are not just minor flaws. They're behaviors that can deeply affect our relationships and the respect others have for us. Recognizing and changing these tendencies can lead to stronger connections and a better reputation. Each of these habits reflects a lack of consideration for others, and breaking free from them is a powerful way to show respect and integrity. The journey toward self-improvement doesn't happen overnight. It takes conscious effort and a willingness to confront our own weaknesses. We'll all face challenges and make mistakes along the way, but the key is to keep learning and growing. Stoicism offers guidance that, although ancient, remains incredibly relevant. Its focus on self-discipline, resilience, and the value of character helps us to live in alignment with our highest values, aiming for inner peace and fulfillment. The next time you're tempted to gossip, remember that sharing someone else's private matters doesn't build trust, it destroys it. When you make a commitment, honor it to show respect for others' time and effort. Listen to others fully, without interrupting, to convey that you value their thoughts as much as your own. And finally, when faced with frustrations, focus on what you can change rather than falling into endless complaints. A positive, solution-focused approach can transform not only your relationships, but also your outlook on life. By applying these principles, we move toward living a life of dignity and respect, inspired by the Stoic wisdom that has guided people for centuries. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to build or erode respect, and each day is a new chance to choose the kind of person we want to be. Let's strive to embody these values, uplift those around us, and stay focused on living a life of purpose and integrity. Thank you for being part of this journey. If you found this discussion helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit from hearing these lessons. By identifying and overcoming these habits, we can all work towards living a life filled with dignity, integrity, and respect. Let's strive to live better, more thoughtful lives, and work toward becoming people that others are drawn to, not distanced from. Until next time, stay strong and stay stoic.